5 rounds. I'll just do 3 rounds unsuppressed, I guess. So semi-automatic is not fucking semi-automatic in these, dude. M4, E1 lower, reset, and brake in semi-auto as it should be. Still the occasional fire on reset, but obviously working much better. Same upper, different lower. Going to try to replicate the fire when it is not supposed to fire on reset. Okay, so had a dead trigger and hammer follow on that. Dead trigger, dead trigger. No reset, fire, and I still did not remove. Fire, did not move my finger, as you can tell. Like, this is full trigger manipulation. That is firing when it should not be firing in semi-automatic mode. This is not and should not be related to a buffer issue. Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another first impressions video. In today's first impressions video, I got a doozy for you. We are going to be talking about the Delta Team Tactical FRT. And before we get this video started, there are no sponsors whatsoever for my channel right now. So if you want to give me some help, you can hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and comment down below. That stuff really does actually still help. And also, I'm really trying to grow my B channel. I got a lot of videos scheduled out over there. It's an action lifestyle vlog channel. I feature fitness, travel, skateboarding, longboarding, mountain biking. You really might find something over there that you actually are into. I'll put a card up in the right-hand corner of your screen now. Click it, subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Okay. And we're here. This is where we've made it in the YouTube world. So a few points before I do this video, because I'm not sure what the thumbnail or the title are going to look like, but I'm going to try to make it as least clickbaity as possible while still being honest on how I feel. I did not have it sent to me by Delta Team Tactical. Actually, the manufacturer that I work for ended up picking up a handful for media guns that we have for our social media team and all of that good stuff, and I was able to get my hands on one of those triggers for testing and evaluation myself. The company that I work for paid standard full retail of $500 for each of these triggers. There are also a lot of YouTubers these days that find whatever everyone is talking positively about and try to come out with a hit piece on that product or gun or item because they know it's going to spark some rage baiting in the comment section. So you have kind of that version of YouTube, and then you have the paid for version of YouTube where everyone is doing everything positive, and it's really sad because there's not many people that are in this middle camp anymore. So I watched, Jesus, it feels like about 20 videos on the Delta Team FRT as a consumer of these videos, and I was blown away. And I saw that the ATF on their website actually said that this does not go against any sort of federal law. Is it that good? I think I gotta try to get my hands on one. And you know, I don't know that I saw a single negative video about this trigger. And to cut to the chase, I have not been that happy with it at all. In fact, it's been quite a nightmare so far to try to finally get running safely and reliably, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. The very first package that I tried to run this trigger in was a milspec lower. Now that milspec lower does have all of the proper cutouts in the rear if you are, let's say, a post-sample manufacturer. Now, I do have in here a carbine buffer. It is very clearly advertised that they, let me say, strongly recommend an H2 or an H3 buffer. Now, after further testing, that should say required. It shouldn't say strongly recommend because of bolt bounce and other things. So because it just said strongly recommended, I wanted to try it in my Gordon build that I'll be doing a video on very soon. I thought that would be a really cool setup to do it on. And then upon actually trying to get this set up, the video is not really going to do it a lot of justice, but I started to fiddle with it at home, and I realized that in the semi-auto position, I was having almost every time or every other time a fire on reset. So it was either a dead trigger or it would not fire and I would pull it to the rear, let go of the trigger, bang, I would get a hammer drop. And that would happen over and over and over again. I just wasn't sure if it was the upper or something else, so I decided to throw another random upper on the gun. I would rack the charging handle, and all of a sudden, every time the hammer would fall on reset in the semi-automatic position. The first time that I took this setup to the range with the FRT in it, I was actually getting hammer follow and runaway gun, and the hammer was falling when it should not have been falling, meaning on reset. So I would go to let go of the trigger in a semi-automatic position, and bang, I would get a shot, or I would get 2 shots as the trigger would reset. That is a major issue in my opinion. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way because they advertise pretty clearly that it's designed to work with a mil-spec lower. I'm seeing all these videos of all these massive creators dropping it with no tuning or anything, just recommending, hey, you want to have a H3, but hey, I don't have an H3 in this and it's still rocking. This is very clearly requiring some tuning to get to work properly. So I never got it to work in this lower at all. It was completely unsafe in this lower with a standard carbine buffer. So I put that one aside. And I should also mention that when the trigger was in this lower, the pins were walking back and forth pretty severely. Other people have mentioned that as well, but more concerning was not the pins, it was the fact that the entire cassette was shifting forward, backward, and side to side. And this also happened in another mil-spec lower. It was actually a KDG lower that I had at the manufacturer that I work at, and that trigger cassette and that was also shifting all over the place. Finally, I decided to try it in an M4E1 lower, and I figured that because this is not necessarily a mil-spec lower, but it kind of is, I figured the fitment would be a little bit better, and sure enough, I was correct. There is no movement at all, side to side or forward to backward in the M4E1. I also have a T3 buffer in here, and I decided to throw on my Gordon upper on this package. And luckily, in this case, I had little to no issue. So it works in an M4E1 as it's advertised. And let me tell you that, yes, 100%, I love this trigger when it works. It truly does feel very, very, very similar to the real thing. But what agitates me again is that it's kind of advertised by all these other creators as like a go-to-war ready setup, and comparatively to super safeties and other things that are out there at a quarter of the price with really none of these advertised issues when you really start digging into the forums of people that have purchased these that were not given to them by Delta Team, that it has some finicky problems. Now, I think if you find a fitment of a lower that it's properly not moving around in, and you have an H2 or an H3 buffer, you're probably going to be fine. So it's just something to note. Now, I still had some bumping shots going on in semi-automatic, and it was really getting to the point that I had to slap the trigger
to ensure that I was not going to get just weird safety issues in semi-automatic mode. In another trigger that we had, that my bosses had at the range that day actually as well, they were experiencing similar issues. And then finally, with the correct upper and lower combination, they were able to get theirs to work as well. Okay, so at the end of the day, yes, these triggers work now for us. If you purchase one of these, you are going to have to do some tuning to get it to work properly. Now that I am finally understanding that with this trigger, I'm going to essentially have to build the gun around this trigger and this idea and kind of take it to the range multiple times, figure out the gassing of the upper that works the best for this thing to work 100%. Once I get it to work 100%, I'm going to be very happy with it. I know I am, because when it worked today, it was excellent. It was really, really cool. I don't know if others are experiencing this issue and just not mentioning it. And this is not trying to be a hit piece on this trigger to like spark a bunch of comments. I want to help some people because this is a lot of money. It's $500 for just a trigger pack. Like it's a lot for the average person. That's the price of a handgun. There's no instructions in the packaging. There's limited instructions on the website. And I did not, again, see a single malfunction or error of this actually published anywhere on the internet in a video format. And that is a bummer to see, because it leaves me wondering like how many people had issues that have millions of views or hundreds of thousands of views or even tens of thousands of views that had issues and just decided to kind of not really mention it because like it's a lot of buzzwords right now. They got me. They got me quite bad, and I'm a little salty about it. The issues are worth noting, in my opinion, because it's not just like, oh, I'm getting stovepipes. It is firing when it's not supposed to fire. That is going to wrap this video up. Hopefully you found this somewhat helpful. If you guys have any questions about this or anything else on the channel, please let me know down in the comment section below, and I absolutely will read it and try my best to get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description, check out the links to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.